That's why I've been waiting for tonight. Waiting for tonight for my sister J-Lo.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Tick, Tick, Boom is about Jonathan Larson, right? And what I want to do, or what our goal has been with this movie, is to tell his story and to honor him. That is our number one goal, to honor this brilliant man who didn't get a chance to be here. We all have been saying it. We're occupying a seat that is not meant to be ours. It's meant to be Jonathan's. And that's why we're telling this story.
I'm just so excited. I feel those butterflies in my stomach like I haven't felt in a long time. It's been a while since I've been in these Broadway streets, and to come back with this film that is a tribute to musical theater artists specifically is so special.
Oh, I'm elated. I literally got here early so I could just do the interviews and like talk to everybody and then like just watch everyone on the carpet. Like, this is the one I've been looking forward to the most.
It feels so special. I mean, the LA premiere was incredible because I had like my family and my friends there. But like, this is Jonathan's world, New York City, you know? And to have it here on Broadway, it just feels so magical.
It's so beautiful, you know, like we're so proud of this film, and I think that is such a rare feeling. I'm just so grateful to all these people that made this, and to Lin particularly. So I think we're just really excited to share it with people, because this is an audience that has a relationship with John for the most part already. So it's almost like sitting vigil and like a kind of a re-honoring and a kind of a revisiting, and I hope that people are touched in the way that we've been touched. So yeah, it's just a beautiful thing, and it's his home. It's a homecoming.
I'm so thrilled to get to bring this movie to New York and to this community. I mean, this really feels like a homecoming, and it feels like this is the real premiere of the film. Like, we made this movie with this community in our hearts and in our minds, and this was the audience that we thought about the most. And so to get to share it with them feels like I just can't wait for them to see it.
I feel like when everyone gets a chance to be in this theater and see this movie, a New York musical premiering in New York, like, this crowd is going to be gagged.
I have not seen the film yet, so we filmed it the day before everybody shut down. We filmed it like on March 12th. So, I mean, I always love working with Lin in any capacity. Just being around him is incredible. So we had so much fun while we were like, are we dying? What's going on? What is this novel coronavirus?
For me, what this moment feels like is everyone finally allowing me to grow up, if that makes sense. Because I came into this business at such a young age and everyone's seen me grow up. I feel like there was a resistance to allowing me to showcase being a grown-ass man, you know? And I remember when I was looking for my next role post Boys in the Band, I had a list of things. And I knew if I had something that was subtle and more tethered and more grounded, that I could showcase maturity and diversify my talents, right? And then when this showed up, I thought, oh, this is the meat that I've been looking for. Surely Lin's gonna cast some singer who wants to act act for the first time. And my brother held out. He made space for me. He saw my audition tape and immediately gave me love, to the point where he blurted it out by accident. He was like, "You're gonna be in this movie." He was drunk. He had a little drinking, and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be as Michael, but it's gonna be in some capacity, you know." But I knew, I was like, "No, this is different." So for me, it's like I feel very seen, and I've been hungry. I've been really hungry for a while, and I'm just grateful that I got to eat.
I want this to find people wherever they're at. I saw this show when I was 21 years old. It was the month after the September 11th attacks, and I was a theater major, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Does this make any sense? And the show was clarifying for me, because I was watching one of my heroes process defeat and pick himself up and start again. And that's important, and that's really hard. And this movie is about that. And this movie is about sort of wherever you are on your journey, like, what are you doing with your time?
I think as a producer, you feel like if you can be lucky enough to produce and bring to life things that resonated with you personally, that's the dream. And I saw Tick, Tick, Boom when I was 26. I saw Lin perform it in the title role. I was absolutely emotionally bowled over by it. And the fact that I was able to go pursue the rights, put it together, the fact that he said yes is still incredibly surreal to me.
it was such an incredible process from the very beginning, and getting to go to the Library of Congress and trying to dig up old drafts and trying to figure out, it wasn't a straightforward adaptation because there wasn't really a thing we were adapting. We were kind of trying to figure out what it was we were adapting, figure out what script we were going to use and which version of the show. And so that journey was so thrilling, and getting to dig into Jonathan and who he was and what he made, and really feel like, I don't know, like I got to know him a little bit better than I did before.
Getting to create like the full world of Tick, Tick, Boom for a movie, using like so many of Jonathan's drafts and work that he did on other musicals, and just all of these things that came together just so beautifully. It was so exciting to work on.
We just had so much fun. We had so much fun just singing amazing Jonathan Larson harmonies, backing Andrew Garfield up as he bared his heart out and doing the performance of Tick, Tick, Boom. And we had moments where we would look over to each other and just get teared up, because we realized that at the time when we were filming this, not too many artists got to do what we were doing. And so that was such a special moment to share so many cool realizations, the gratitude, the weight, the responsibility to give this tribute to our artist community. So yeah, we had so much fun.
So I'm curious what it was like to have Joshua as your scene partner throughout.
It was the best thing ever. I mean, like, he's phenomenal. Not only is he insanely talented, but he's just such a good guy. I love singing with him, and I love singing harmonies. So best believe I was in heaven every day.
What was it like working with everyone in this cast?
Oh my God! I mean, they are thoroughbred racehorses of musical theater. They are holistic theater practitioners. So and they are big hearts, big souls, big spirit people. Every single person in this company, Vanessa, Alex, Robin, MJ, Ben, Josh, they're all these just big bursting hearts of people, and they just happen to be the most talented musical theater actors around. So I just only want to honor them and just lift them up, because I have such a newfound understanding, respect, and appreciation for what it takes. That rigor, that discipline, and that joy, and that heart, and that vulnerability. It's a vulnerable thing, so I'm super inspired by them and indebted to them.
I mean, it's Lin, it's this movie, it's Jonathan Larson, it's Andrew Garfield, it's Vanessa Hudgens, it's all these glorious people, and so the answer is yes. And my friend Bernie Telsey said, "You want to do this movie?" And I said, "Yes, I do."
It's an amazing mix of people I've admired for a really long time and folks I've been working with my entire career. And believe me, you want that on your first time. You want to see friendly faces, and you want to work with the best. And I had everything. I had everything around me. I had Robin De Jesus, who was my cousin for a year in a bodega, who is, grown into such an incredibly fine actor. That guy gets a Tony nomination at every at-bat. I have the other 3-time Tony nominee next to me, Josh Henry over here. And then, Andrew Garfield, who is such a theater beast. He really is just one of the most incredible theater actors I've ever seen.
Every single day on set felt like a fever dream. You were like, is that Laura Benanti? Is that? And fill in the blank. And I think if you put out there the collective number of Tony Award nominations and wins by our cast, the list would be incredibly long. But at their core, they are all people who love the theater and work in the theater. And to shoot with them while theater was dark was really incredible.
You were in a moment that we can't really give too much away. It's this beautiful cameo moment. What was that like filming and working with Lin as a director?
Well, it was exciting. It was full of energy and full of life and anticipation of what's going to happen next, And so it was a lot of fun,
I don't even know how to describe that, because everywhere you looked was like some famous star, I was amazed I was in the room with him. It was incredible.
Honestly, it was very scary. I mean, coming into this, working with some of these Broadway legends, it was really intimidating. But the thing about theater is it's community-based, and everyone was so loving and so caring and made the space so comfortable that I felt like I was really able to flourish. And that was a lot of Lin, setting that stage, opening up that space, and giving us that room to really just dive into everything.
It was just great. And to walk into the soundstage and to see this entire group of Broadway luminaries, people, some of my peers, some people I've idolized, and it's just fantastic. And to be a part of something that feels so giving and so full of love and so full of joy has just been, it's been great.
I felt honored to be honored amongst the honored, honorable. It was fun. What was weird though, obviously, is that when we had to shoot, we all had to be separate. There was a lot of movie magic in order to make it look like as if though we were all in the same place at the same time. So that's what was strange about it. We're living in very, very strange times. But the great thing about working with Lin is that he loves what he does. You'd think if you walk in the room, you wouldn't know that he was a director because he's having so much fun, and that's the great thing about working with Lin is it doesn't feel like work, and it should never. The things that you love should never feel like work.
Honestly, the reason that number is staged the way it is because Jonathan never heard that with a choir. That was a one-man show and a love letter to his hero. And I wanted it to become a love letter to my hero, and I wanted him to give him the chorus of his dreams, and that's what that represents to me.
It's just special. I feel like everyone came into this project with love in their hearts for the project, for Jonathan, for Lin. And when you come from a place and it's birthed out of love, you get magic.
I want us to get to a point where musical theater on screen is not rare. It's a part of the culture. That used to happen in the golden age, so if we can get back to that, and I'm just so grateful for Lin-Manuel and what he's doing and pushing that envelope in animation and in, big screen. So.
I hope that we can bring so much more. This has been a good year. I can't complain. Between this, his other 3 films, West Side, Dear Evan Hansen, I hope that we can continue doing this on the big screen so that it can feed people going back into the seats. Hopefully it can just go back and forth in a really healthy way.
I actually think it's kind of a brilliant film to see if you don't know musical theater. It gives you like a view into the world that is not insidery. It's almost like having dinner with Jonathan and getting to hear all of his hopes and dreams for someone who maybe had heard of Rent but doesn't really know that much. It's like a world that you get to see through his eyes in a very beautiful way that I think is relatable for everyone.
Well, when we were developing Tick, Tick, Boom, we didn't have a studio home, and so the question of distribution was really open, and we met with everyone. And the thing that was so exciting to us about Netflix is that someone who maybe doesn't have a theater in their town but has access to the internet can watch it over and over and over again, can put it on repeat in the same way that we all put cast albums on repeat over and over again. And I hope that is meaningful for one person out there.
I think what they always take away from anything Lin does, which is the heart. I think that there was a moment where it was like musicals aren't cool. And then Lin came in and was like, yeah, they actually are. And he's now made 2 live musical films that show how incredible musicals are. We sing when we can't talk anymore. And, it's not like your grandma's musical theater, even though I love that too.
One thing that Jonathan Larson has done for us is inspired our artistry and careers and our lives just in terms of his story. And so this movie, yet again, just like Rent has, is continuously inspiring us.
I think that this film is about tenacity and approaching things with heart, the kind of love that just outlasts the cynicism that you come up against, the kind of love, the kind of pure love that just breaks through walls. So that is what I hope people take away tonight.
I want people to feel like, oh, that's a little bit of who that person was, who created this, who, we get our lives interrupted for different reasons, and it's random, but this is a person who had incredible potential and who in their very, limited experience of putting things out, put out some incredible stuff.
I think Jonathan is such a great model of great white allydom. I think about someone who created a space for so many black and brown folks, gave them characters that were rich, multifaceted, messy, but not judged. The fact that I have tons of black and brown friends who did the show for years and they now own homes. They now have the ability to have kids. They had insurance weeks. Jonathan's work provided that. But he also let us feel seen. And even for me now, I'm a 37-year-old Puerto Rican queer man. I never got to meet my elders because no one documented their history. You know, no one really shares the stories of black and brown gay folks who died of AIDS or the women that were affected by it. And so I feel like now there's great healing in taking me and inserting me into that period. I feel like I'm getting to meet my ancestors.
He was so aware of his purpose. You know, he couldn't quite define what it is, but he felt the need to have his voice be heard. And it was just killing him. That's what the Tick Tick is about. But, you know, he would have an hour of sleep a night, you know, but he leaned on his friends. He was surrounded by a really great support group. And he asked the questions more than he had the answers. Fear or love? Cages or wings? And those questions were such mindful things that we as artists, and even if you're not an artist, can take from moment to moment and just say, how are we living our lives? Let's really think about this.
He was someone that was a warrior for art and a warrior for the heart, a warrior for the soul of the individual and of this country. He saw the heartbreak and felt the heartbreak of you know, the experiences that this country was going through back then and still are. And he wanted to wake a generation up. And I know that right now lots of young people in musical theater in high school are looking to do Rent again. And that makes sense to me. 16, 17-year-olds who have been radicalized by, an awakeness to the culture that we're living in, and wanting to save the planet for one. You know, I think, and I feel that people should be and can be inspired by him to live their truest selves.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.